So this is mud brick field house,
which is shown on our larger finding plan. Here it's on the west side of the gully of the Morea River, which doesn't have any water in it right now. There's the mud brick field house, and the site extends through a dozen or more fields out over on the west side of this dirt road, on the lower slopes, I guess, of Chorography, which is the three-peaked hill up there on the west, which bounds the Morea Valley on that side. So here we've got the detailed map of the grid collection units from when we worked at this site in the mid-1980s, and it's going to be interesting to see what differences there have been in the past 20 or more years, 23 or 4 years, since I was last here standing on this spot, in terms of land use and crops in the fields and so on. Indeed, whether we can see any of these archaeological features, cut blocks, millstones, fragments of Roman pipes, tile, plaster, and the like. A lot of that came to light because some of these fields had been freshly deep plowed, in one case in order to install concrete posts to support kiwi plants, kiwi trees, bushes, which at that time were subject to a major European Union subsidy. And it was very, very destructive because these posts needed to be sunk deep, and they needed to deep plow the fields before planting. And we were lucky enough to come at just the right moment when that, lucky, maybe not the right word, lucky to be here at that moment of intervention in the landscape, when it was transitioning from whatever had been there before, vines or stubble or something else, into this intensive new crop. And just looking around right now, I don't see any sign of that land use, the kiwi plantations. So my guess is that those were ripped out again, and the fields in question have been put back into vines. As you can see from doing a panorama, not only from where we're standing, but from the valley as a whole, viticulture is the major crop in this area, and the Morean red wines are one of the finest in the whole of Greece. So that's really what the farmers are focusing on. And that too is relatively destructive to install, because the vines have to be supported with these metal posts and wires, and so generally they deep plow along the line of where the vines are going to be planted first. And just back here along the road, we passed a field that had been deeply torn up. You can see all the vine roots and so on, so we're probably going to replant that field, I would guess. So we're in the middle reaches of the Morea Valley. The headwaters of the valley are over there to the south. The ridge line you can see leading up to a fairly big mountain of Dauli, on which, to the best of my knowledge, there's no archaeological sites, even at the top. And then we drop down into the drainage divide between Dauli and this three-top peak of Chorography, and that's where the road from Archaea Morea to New Morea runs. And then that ridgeline runs parallel to the Morea River, roughly south to north, and eventually leads up to the large peak over there called Stimanga.
which is where that monument,
yeah, that's where the
Civil War
monument is. And then across the valley there, that was the northern limit of our survey activities in the 1980s. And then up the slopes, which we did survey, I'm pleased to say, all the way up to the top of the flat-topped hill of Foucasse, on which there's a late geometric, archaic and classical peak sanctuary. And then the eastern edge of the Morea Valley Survey activities ran along pretty much along the skyline that you see from here, again parallel to the Morea River. So let's walk around a little bit and see to what extent
Sure.
these field uses have changed.